Welcome to CommercialDrones.fm, the podcast that explores the commercial drone industry, the people who power it, and the concepts that drive it. I'm your host, Ian Smith. Hey everybody, welcome to Commercial Drones FM. Ian Smith here, and I'm sitting with Brandon Packman in San Francisco, California. Brandon is head of business development for SkyWatch.AI, a drone insurance company that's bringing some really cool improvements to that kind of line of business for drone operators. So welcome to the show, Brandon.
Thanks, man. Appreciate being here. It's an honor.
Thank you very much for coming out. Came out from Oregon just to see us here, so very honored to have you here. First of all, though, before we really get into SkyWatch and kind of what you guys are doing there, tell us a little bit about Brandon. Who is Brandon Packman? What are you doing? How did you get into drones, per se? Because you've been in the business before you were at SkyWatch. You've been in drones.
Yeah, no, I've been around on the kind of the drone drinking tour, going through Vegas for years and all that good stuff. I busted into the industry in 2013 after going to a drone conference that was between winemakers and drone folks. You know, it's a precision agriculture conference, and I heard one great talk by Ken Giles, a UC Davis professor, talking about the RMAX and spraying stuff. And after he was done, I ran up to the guy running the conference, which was Eric Folkstead, the president of the Cascade chapter of AVSI, and said, "Hey, I don't know too much about these drones. I'm just getting into insurance, but this is awesome, and I can see this as disruptive, and I want to be an insurance player. Can you help?" And he said yes, and it was awesome. And got a few names, started making phone calls, and I leveraged my dad, who recently had retired from AIG after 34 years, and leaned on him, and my agency supported me and became a platinum member of AVSI Cascade all in the course of about 6 weeks. Oof. And befriended some folks like Gretchen West, the great gal who was the executive vice president of AVSI at the time, and
previous podcast guest, Gretchen West.
Yeah, also BD at Drone Deploy before you were there, and all sorts of fun things.
Gretchen hired me at Drone Deploy, actually.
Yeah. She's a good lady, man.
Yeah. She's episode 39 if you're interested to hear Gretchen's previous podcast episode back in the day, back in 2017, March. Oof, it's been a while.
Yeah, so I just kind of kept pulling at things. Gretchen actually helped me line up a nice meeting between Jim Williams of the FAA, Michael Toscano at AVSI, president of the AMA, the two largest insurer underwriters. I brought to the table the Pan-Pacific Test Range, my client Airware, all these folks to try and work on some best practices that would serve as like an underwriting bar and risk-based regulation. And so somehow I finagled my way and corralled all the cats and had a nice chat there in 2014. And from there, targeted some large clients and had some success. And really, from there, I worked with Gretchen and Andy Nickerson from Aeroville, and to try and help start Drone World Expo. I found I really like just connecting with people in the industry and making introductions and seeing that sometimes come back to me, sometimes not. And so when my agency was acquired in, end of 2015, I jumped ship and ran over to Drone World Expo as the VP of BD there. And, fast forward about a year or so later, I ran into SkyWatch, and they were a, stealthy startup, and they had some secret sauce that was pretty sweet, and I liked it. And, here we are staring into each other's eyes.
I actually never knew the previous, the precursor to your time at Drone World Expo. So you've kind of come full circle in the whole industry, in the whole insurance.
Yeah. So I was always still passionate about it, and I was like, listen, old stodgy insurance, it's being disrupted from this new economy, and drones is in there, right? They're connected devices. These people are tech savvy. They want solutions now. They're educated. An old paper application, doesn't really match up well.
Yeah. I can't recall when I've had a good experience, like just doing insurance stuff, whether it's kind of...
Well, become a client, and then that'll change, bro.
Yeah, except with SkyWatch, though, of course. But no, just like in general, yeah. I think everyone can agree. And it was really interesting, though, because I completely can kind of, I understand what you're saying. I mean, and everybody really does. Like insurance has been kind of just this like archaic format, and it's like just seeing the other like drone insurance companies, basically. Like the drone industry has kind of attracted disruption for the insurance industry, which is really cool. So with that said, I want tell us about SkyWatch. I mean, what is SkyWatch? What is the value proposition here? What makes you guys unique? Like what's going on?
So SkyWatch really is an InsurTech startup, and we focus on on-demand insurance, in the micro mobility space. And, we have the ability to do things that, a regular insurance company can't. We are a tech-forward company. We're going to come out with releases to our product all the time and adapt to the changing market. We offer, policies by the hour or by the month. An hourly policy is kind of tied to a geographic location of flight plan that you create. Monthly policy, it's good throughout the United States. What our real secret sauce is that we have the ability to score pilots, and it's based off of our co-founders' background being in the Israeli, Air Force, and they are great at, looking at telemetry data, and they could see that if they could create pilot scores that would show, drone service providers exactly how safe they were flying and help them in real time assess risk and analyze, flight risk, post-flight, pre-flight, there would be some big disruption there. So we're taking that ability to gather data, get, discounts to people that fly safe. And literally our tagline is, 50% less, for safer pilots.
That's really interesting. I think I was a very early sign up. I think you guys might have been in like a closed beta actually whenever I first signed up.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Of course. No, it was last year and it was just like a really simple experience. I remember just logging in and then if I'm not mistaken, I could sync my old DJI Go log files to the...
Right. So you can fly. There's two ways that you get a safety score with us.
Yeah, so this is how that they can tell that you're a safe pilot. Totally. Like one of the data points.
Right. Is you can, in our map screen in the upper right hand of the app, it looks like a little white quadcopter, a DJI Phantom 4 perhaps. You tap that, you can transition into our ground controls station or flight module, and it's, the mobile SDK from DJI is layered in there, and so people can fly in that app. The real huge benefit would be that if you leave like your little hourly coverage area, you get a warning. You're going to get these pre-flight, analysis. You'll see, weather data, stuff that's going to be important to, making a judgment on what's, a safe risk or not. Or, you can send us flight logs,
that's what I did. Yeah.
So
flight logs.
Yeah. So you send me 5 flight logs where each of them is 5 minutes or more, and you'll get a nice little safety score, a redeem token. You go into my discounts in our app, you click the redeem button in the upper right, you throw that in there, and you'll probably save around 10 to 25% right away. If you want to share some data, we want to share some discounts.
Yeah, that's good. So who then is your market focus then? What do you focus on? Is this kind of focused on SMB or enterprise, or like is this also available maybe to someone who's just a very risk averse hobbyist that wants to use SkyWatch?
All of the above. I'm going to say a majority of our clients right now is the SMB, small business to medium sized drone operator. Our policy is great, and then it covers all drones for liability by the named insured on the certificate of insurance. So if you got 3 drones, great. They are all covered for one price, as long as there's one in the air at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. The hobbyists, they can get insurance with us. We ask people to self-certify if they want to go over $1 million in liability limits, that they are, an FAA certified pilot. Those are higher than 1 million, are only available to commercial pilots.
Okay. So looking at then the risk-based, like data-heavy approach that you guys use, I mean, what is what is a risky pilot? Because I'm not tooting my own horn here, but I'm pretty sure the app, if I recall correctly, just said I was an extremely safe pilot. So what can you give us some examples of what are unsafe behaviors that you guys would be looking out for that would kind of ding the safety score? Because it's really interesting that you guys are focused on this, and people might think twice, before doing something maybe potentially sketchy or risky, if they're at all concerned about the price that they have to pay for insurance when this kind of product comes along.
Totally. So there's 40 plus factors that we really, take into account. Everything from, are you flying low and fast, or, at a nice altitude, nice and steady? Something that would be risky, to answer your question, is, you landed with 5% battery left instead of 50%. You decided to fly and you had basically no connectivity to your ground control station. Those are things that are going to end up dinging you.
Interesting.
Something that's good that we found, and that's in our model, without revealing too much, is that if a pilot returns to the same location, they're safer. There's
by default, because you kind of know the area.
Yeah,
perhaps.
You've seen the big tree over behind you, and you've seen the crosswind, and you know about the buildings and whatnot. So that's something that we've noticed when pilots return to the same location. It's lower risk.
Nice. Okay. And so what kind of options are there here? You mentioned the hourly, the monthly, but so most of the times when I've been dealing with drone insurance, it comes down to, of course, you've got your liability, standard liability, you've got your whole insurance.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of equipment that people use. I mean, It's not just actually the drone. Sometimes it's, you could have one of those really fancy transmitters and some other equipment on the ground. So what are the extents and what are the options available with SkyWatch.AI?
Yeah, no, great question. So we transact insurance by the hour, and the options inside the app, please go install the app and take a look. It's all there really quickly in front of you. We'll go from an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, up to 8 hours. And then we do by the month. The hourly policies are again tied to a flight plan that you put into the app. On the map screen, you can create a detailed polygon, not just a circle of coverage that people might be used to seeing.
Yeah.
And then you can book those, for now on the job site and buy insurance and fly 10 seconds later, or you can put it out, a month, 2 months in advance and get that certificate of insurance to a client ahead of time for a geographic location, a job site, perhaps. The monthly product is the entire United States. It's really, think about our monthly product. If you're a drone insurance consumer out there and your interest is piqued, our monthly product is like a subscription to an annual policy.
Gotcha.
And so inside of
our... And you go monthly on that? Or is it like a year commitment?
No.
Okay, cool.
So, another awesome feature about us is that, these policies are customizable and you can change, if I want this to be a subscription or I just need it for 1 month, hey, maybe it's November and I had a monthly policy reoccurring from May till November, but, I can go in there and say, I want to cancel this, December 1st, and I'm just going to go to on-demand insurance if I need it.
Yeah.
Because I'm really, it's kind of the holidays and things are slowing down. So that kind of flexibility, we're finding, through the beta process and continuously listening to our pilots, that flexibility is huge for them.
Yeah. Today's episode is brought to you by kittyhawk.io, the enterprise solution for drone operations management, available on the web, iOS, Android, and DJI's Crystal Sky. Operating a successful commercial drone program doesn't have to involve a ton of tools and time making them talk to each other. With Kitty Hawk, you can manage your aircraft, operators, and airspace all from a single unified platform. Managers can use Kitty Hawk to monitor their fleet, assign missions, and effortlessly track compliance. Your pilots fly in the Kitty Hawk app with safety and compliance settings that you customize based on your company's needs. There's even an API to make integrating Kitty Hawk into your workflows easy and automatic. Visit kittyhawk.io to learn more. Commercial Drones FM is supported by MicaSense. MicaSense develops drone-based sensors for agriculture. With hundreds of research publications, dozens of case studies, and customers in over 75 countries, MicaSense sensors are proven to increase yield and save your customers money. For more information on what a MicaSense sensor can help you achieve, visit micasense.com. Okay, back to the show. What could you actually give us maybe some examples of like claims that you guys have paid, and maybe some that you haven't?
Right.
Or
so you mentioned
this is actually a question I will call out, a question from one of the supporters of Commercial Drones FM. So thank you very much for the question. So go ahead, some examples of claims.
So
please.
Going back, I guess you were mentioning hull insurance. So.
Yeah.
We added hull insurance later on, and that's available with our monthly product.
And what is hull insurance exactly?
Physical damage. So if it drops out of the sky and it hits somebody in the head and they're mad, that's your liability coverage. And that's those $1 million limits. Ours range from $500,000 to $10 million. Mm-hmm. The physical damage coverage is the insured value you put in there. So if you've got...
For the drone itself.
And the attached equipment. You got some sweet sensors. Mm-hmm. Awesome. You give us a serial number for the sensors, the drone. It's going to give you a quote right there for that insured value that you put in there. And so we'll do up to $30,000 per item on demand. So since we've added hull insurance, we've seen just a couple claims come through because those are, higher risk, low severity versus the liability, which is opposite. A drone crashed and it needed to be repaired, and we were able to get a check out to the person in about a week. They had, from the time of the accident, money came in their pocket.
Oh, nice.
Days later.
Oof,
so
much better than automobile insurance usually.
Yeah, I mean, we're focused on our customer experience of, the full life cycle, and we've got a great partner in our underwriting partner that, that gives me confidence as, the agent and broker and kind of the face talking to the customers all the time that, our partner who's there to hand out the money and handle claims, they did their job for us, and that makes me really confident.
Before I want to ask you about partners, but before, are you able to share? I know that I've talked to many insurance companies in the past, so I have to ask: are you able to share just a hypothetical potential hourly rate? Like, let's say I have a Mavic 2 Pro. I'm going out to do a mapping mission, and it's going to take me about an hour, and just a super general area, non-risky, whatever, without my safety score and everything. Can you give? Is there a way to give it an approximut range of how much that could cost?
Sure. I would tell you, Mr. Customer. I'd ask you, have you installed the app yet? Because it's going to tell you right away. Okay, you have. Great. So then you would know for $500,000 it'd be $7. For $1 million for an hour it'd be $10. And this is without any experience discounts that you get, by the way, after your first month without claims or after a couple policies purchased. That comes automatically.
Nice.
The safety score comes with you choosing to share your data with us. We don't just glean it without you choosing to share it. So
you guys have probably got all kinds of privacy policy information and what's shared all up on the website and everything.
Along with a very extensive FAQ where you can go see the policy beforehand, look at the sample certificate of insurance, a great first-time user guide. We got a good blog. We got a good website. We're lucky.
Who are some of your partners? I worked with you in the past.
Totally. Yeah. No, when you're at Drone Deploy, you helped me get an app on your app market. So, we are working, there. We're integrated really into Maps Made Easy. The product is called Map Pilot. Mm-hmm. So the idea is that when a person's planning a mission, in their workflow, they can say, yeah, I want to add insurance, and they can just stay inside one app. You don't need 5 apps and whatnot to go get a quote. So those are examples of partners that we're using our, insure tech, heavy on the tech, on using API and whatnot integrations with partners to provide drone insurance, in the workflow.
It makes everything easier. You guys are tech first, insure tech. So yes, keep doing that, please. I mean, everyone appreciates it. What about future updates, releases / features? I mean, this is really cool. I imagine you guys will probably add in more of the 40 plus different aspects of how to reduce your risk and how if you're a safe pilot. But do you guys have anything specific planned that you can share in the future for SkyWatch.AI?
I'd say we've had just recently a huge update that I would, talk more about is that people can really manage everything from their app. So say you're at ABC, construction site and you're XYZ drone service company and you show up and the construction company says, hey, you can't fly. You were supposed to name me additional insured. And you've already have a monthly policy in place. You can go back into the app and in a few seconds you can get that ABC drone construction company added to your certificate. Bam, right there. You're flying and making money. You're not stopped by your insurance because you can't get the certificate to say what it needs to say, even if you purchase it beforehand. So that policy management stuff is what people, at insurance companies get paid a lot of money to handle and push these certificates around and whatnot. So now operators can do all of that stuff, from the app, and they can decide to, cancel insurance whenever they need to or whatnot. So that was a huge just feature, and it took a lot of support requests off us to be able to get that done. In the future, we're going to really keep, improving our algorithm and safety scoring, but we're going to listen to what our pilots are asking for us to do and features. And I think you'll see us, perhaps develop, we're an app-based company, right? That's where we transact all of our insurance. Our website is great, but we don't sell insurance over the website right now. We might do that, in the future, but we're going to adapt to what this market is demanding and come out with great updates, from there.
I didn't ask, like geographical availability, all 50 U.S. states?
So you can fly in all 50 states, however, New York, North Dakota, and Kentucky, the residents of those states, because insurance is still regulated by a state-by-state basis, we're still trying to get through that little hurdle, but in time it'll be available for all residents. Just quick note, if you say you're living in Connecticut, but you got a job over in New York, you're a resident of Connecticut, no problem. You can buy and fly in New York.
Gotcha. Okay, I see. Now, I just want, hypothetically, it's really interesting, and I'm thinking of safety scores, and the industry is going further and further towards automation, and eventually we'll have beyond visual line of sight regulations, and then eventually the APIs will just be controlling the drone flights, and the drone flights will be optimized, the flight patterns optimized for the weather at the time and the terrain and the mission itself that we can do much better than we can do now. Right. So how does that kind of affect drone insurance and maybe drone insurance just in general? What do you think? I mean, you've been looking at this problem for a while.
Yeah.
Do you think it just gets is there ever a time where there won't be insurance required? And I'm laughing when I say that because of course the answer is no. But what is the limit then? Because if risk keeps going down, what do you think happens here? Give us a little insight from the mind of Brandon.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen is there's going to be more and more safety that's coming in, and there's going to be some more regulation that's going hand in hand, and the equipment's going to get better. So you have the sense and avoid technology, and if you're saying, here's my drone that I'm flying, great, maybe there's discounts because this has better, maybe it's got a parachute in it.
Better onboard technology poses less risk.
Yes, hopefully. Maybe, this class or this industry is known to be safer. Great. We're going to keep updating the model, and it's not just us. The entire insurance industry is very, very, very data driven. They got a lot of money on the line. So, as the drone industry adapts, they're going to adapt to the risk models.
Exactly.
And when losses pile up, they're going to adjust the pricing. It's dynamic pricing.
I mean, insurance has been around. I have no idea, but at least.
So Lloyd's and the Lloyd's coffee shop in 15
in London, right?
Correct. So there was a coffee shop where all these crazy captains would meet before the ships would go out to sea. Okay, and they would all kind of reinsure each other. I know that's a guy's a good captain. This guy's kind of a drunk, and he crashed before. We'll all pull your money together, but Bob the captain is a better risk than Joe the drunk captains.
Interesting, yeah. So it just kind of started as something naturally that humans would do to kind of avoid risk and try to keep their
manage risk,
their
mitigate,
profits.
all that stuff.
Well, that's actually that's really cool. I mean, I've actually been over there in like the kind of the insurance district of London. I'm sure we've got plenty of English folks that'll tell me exactly what that little area is called, but there's some really cool buildings there. Yeah. The birthplace of insurance.
Yeah, the Lloyd's building is cool. I was lucky enough to study abroad in London, and
is that like the super steampunky looking one? It looks like it's from the future.
They call it like the tea kettle or the coffee pot. They have a name for it. It's escaping me, but yeah,
the walkie-talkie, Boris's helmet, the shard. I love all the names for all the buildings in London specifically. But right. Nice, man. Okay, well, thank you so much, Brandon, for being a guest on the show. Really appreciate it. If anyone has any questions, like how can they get in touch and ask?
Yeah, so we're really committed to service, and I'm going to do something that maybe people think are silly. Our whole team is behind us, 24/7, but anyone can call me. 541-968-3856. Anytime, send me a text, call me out of the blue.
Wow.
We are here. We've got your back, and we know people have questions about this. There's a lot of, new folks to the business or new to business for themselves, a lot of new entrepreneurs out there, and I'm here to answer questions anytime. Again, 541-968-3856.
Very nice gesture. I'm going to have to add that into my phone later on. Just kidding. It's already there. Well, again, Brandon, thank you so much for being a guest on the podcast. Hope you can come back again someday. Tell us how SkyWatch is doing. If you are listening and you want to learn more about SkyWatch.AI, go to SkyWatch.AI in your web browser. But if you want to jump right in and take advantage of their platform, you can go on your phone's app store, search for SkyWatch.AI or SkyWatch Drone Insurance, and you can get started there. And let us know how your experience goes. Reach out on Twitter @DronesPodcast or Facebook.com/DronesPodcast. I am SkyCapture on Twitter. And do you have a Twitter, Brandon?
Yeah.
What are you?
I think it's @Brandon Packman.
Brandon Packman. That's nice. Good handle. So you can't mess that one up, everybody. So we are now going to cut off the mics. Talk to you later. Cheers.